everyone thinks that's a bit of a crime to football.
Toby's definitely done his research here.
Didier Drogba isn't that great.
Gerrard would have been elite backup for Essien.
Today I have one Chelsea fan in a room who's going to be taking on 20 football fans around some of the biggest Chelsea topics. Each fan is given a yellow card,
And if they feel like the person debating against the Chelsea fan isn't doing a good enough job,
they can raise it in order to get rid of them. If 10 yellow cards have been raised, I will send them off. They'll then be replaced by another fan until 10 minutes is up. And once we're done, we're done. Toby, my friend, please say your first argument into the camera.
Didier Drogba is the best striker in his prime the Premier League's seen.
Okie dokie then. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Welcome. Oh, yeah, you've done me. Absolutely done me, Toby. Welcome. It's Toby, boys.
Nice.
What would you like to argue, my friend?
You said Didier Drogba is the best striker in Premier League history at his prime.
Yes.
There's no chance.
09-10 I think is actually quite clearly the best Premier League season a striker has put up. I mean, he scores 29 goals in 31 games. He had AFCON. He's not even taking penalties. So it comes to a statistical thing. He can kind of go toe-to-toe with anyone. Then you factor in scoring in finals, semi-finals, big games, away at every big ground, hat-tricks on the final day to seal the league. I don't think anyone can actually compete with it as a season.
I mean, I think that's fair enough if you say maybe that's one of his best seasons, but your prime can be one season, that's number one. Number two, if you're even going to compare that season compared to some of the other strikers that we've had in Premier League history, he's nowhere near.
Who? No, but I would...
Thierry Henry. So, for example, Thierry Henry.
Ballon d'Or, yeah?
You've got like 3 different seasons. You could pick whichever one you want.
Right,
He's a better playmaker.
We're talking about their prime. So specifically are we talking about with Thierry Henry?
Early 2000s, any of the early 2000 seasons. When he does 20 goals and 20 plus assists.
Okay, so that's
you're in
20 and 24. So he had 4 different goals and assists, right, to Didier Drogba that season. He played 6 more games. And actually, when it comes to pressure and dealing with that sort of thing throughout that season, I think Arsenal that year, they were 8 points clear in March. Henry went 4 games without scoring and they bottled the league to Manchester United.
But Thierry Henry's never just been about scoring. That's
not
the
in
point,
the big
though.
moments. No, he's never been about that. I'm with you there completely.
A final is not
you
just.
Don't see him get to do it in finals.
Number one, he has like 2 or 3 different man of the match awards in finals, right? Including the Euros, which Drogba wishes he could have.
We're not doing finals Drogba versus Henry because this isn't.
No, the point is not just about scoring, right? And Thierry Henry is faster than him, more skillful than him, he's a better playmaker than him, scores at a higher rate than him.
Toby, I'm sorry, mate.
No chance.
You're off. Well done, Toby. Brilliantly done. 8 minutes roughly left on the timer. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Come on, then. Come on, Mattel. Brilliant. Welcome to the stage. Go ahead. Jump in.
So you said Drogba in his prime is the best.
Yes.
I don't think he's top 3.
That's fine. You can think that, but I want to know who is competing with him. Who is actually competing with him?
So, of course, Henry is the best striker in Premier League history, and I'm a Liverpool fan saying that.
I know, but I'm saying as a season, I don't think anyone compares season-wise to that. No one has a season that can stack up with him.
So, first of all, again, we're talking about Drogba, who maybe has 2 seasons where he is at the very top. Now, let's talk about strikers that haven't even won the Premier League, by the way. Luis Suarez, individual season. The numbers don't even compare. Let's talk about Harry Kane.
The numbers do compare. The numbers do compare, because 31 for Luis Suarez in that season from 33, 29 to 31, 12 assists versus 11. The numbers do compare. That's without.
The numbers don't compare because he got 31 goals. Drogba's never scored 31 goals. Has Drogba actually scored 30 goals?
He scored 29.
Can we put our hands up for everyone who has a striker that scored 30 goals in the Premier?
That's okay. And what did that lead Liverpool to doing that season in terms of the whole context of the season? You're just looking at all right. This one scored 2 goals better than that one. So is Kevin Phillips, European Golden Shoe winner, better than any of these Premier League strikers? No, obviously not. No offense. But you've got to bear in mind with Suarez, he went up against Thomas Callas and was pocketed in those big games. He didn't do anything at the Bridge. He didn't do anything at Anfield.
He missed the first 5 games of the Premier League and still outscored Drogba.
It doesn't matter. Drogba went to AFCON. He missed more games. He played less games than Suarez that season. When it came to crunch time, winning the league, Gerrard slipped. Suarez did nothing that game and was pocketed. Away at City, he was pocketed. Yes, he did. Yes, he played in those games and he didn't deliver like Drogba did.
Okay, I understand that.
Drogba delivered at Anfield.
But you're talking about prime. But you are talking about prime. So in prime, you're not specifically saying trophies, legacy. You said prime years.
Yeah, and delivering those is part of that.
Yes, it is part of it. But you're talking about, you went so much to the numbers. Again, Harry Kane has multiple seasons, but he played for Spurs. So must you only be surrounded by a team full of superstars to then be in order to have?
Are we really pretending in a lot of Harry Kane's years where he did have Dembele around him, Son around him, Eriksen around him, Dele Alli around him, that they were some poor team? Sorry, Leicester managed to win the league in that season because they got the job done in the big games, turning up in the big moments. He couldn't do that. That's a different
argument. No,
it's not. It's the same.
We can go attribute for attribute. Who is better technically, Harry Kane or Didier Drogba?
Didier Drogba by a mile.
Oh my
Didier Drogba's far more
he's got the blue
complete than Harry Kane was in terms of
So
bringing
who's a
people
better
into the game.
passer? Who's a better passer? Hold on, just attribute for attribute. Harry Kane, for example. Who is a better passer? Right foot and left
Long
foot.
passing, Kane. Short passing, Drogba.
Who's a better finisher? All around. Left
Kane.
foot, right foot.
Kane.
Kane. Right. Who is better at holding up the ball?
Drogba.
Right. So we're going 2 for 1 for Harry Kane. Who's the better finisher? Out and out finisher.
You already asked that one.
So-
It's Kane.
Okay, but I said right foot, left foot, but that's fair
Okay,
enough.
right.
All right, so out of those things, you'd say as a striker, those are
Long
the three
shots, set pieces, turning up in big moments, headers. There's lots of factors that come into this,
Okay.
and your ability
But we're
to
going for
rely
prime-
on someone
we're going
when they
prime
need
for
to be
prime
done.
and attribute.
Harry Kane,
Yeah,
Mr. I do not
just
show
think
up
you've got
when
the
it
blue-
matters.
For me, you have the blue
versus
tinted
Drogba.
glasses for me. It's blue tinted glasses for me. Luis Suarez, Didier Drogba, Harry Kane.
Look,
he's not top three, bro.
Look,
He's not top
Suarez had
three.
some great performances against Norwich, but please turn up when it's time to win the league. He couldn't. Drogba could. That's the
He
point.
had a better team. He had a better team. Do you think
Dro-
Drogba? Okay,
Drogba
last
won-
question.
sorry.
Do you think Drogba's winning the league against?
Sorry,
Liverpool?
Mons. That is 10 there, but you are
Yeah,
off. Well
cheers, guys.
debated. Some really good stuff. Toby's definitely done his research here. Okay, then we've got around 4.5 minutes left. 3, 2, 1. Jacob, if you'd like to do it.
Come on, Danny Ings.
Come on, Danny Ings. Doesn't have to debate Danny Ings' point.
No, not Danny. Can I interest you in Chris Wood?
Yeah, Chris.
Hey, since he's been in the Premier League, he scored over 10 goals in every season, bar one. All right, that's got to be for something.
Are you actually going
That
to
is genuine argument.
Yeah,
Chris Wood over Drogba?
Yeah, I'll let the others speak for that one. I think.
Okay. No, I'll just retire.
Okay, fair play. I'll give you an early bath. Well done, Jacob. Not Chris Wood, but who else would like to come to the table and argue that Didier Drogba isn't the best striker the Premier League has seen in his prime? 3, 2, 1. Here he comes. Manchester City, current striker Erling Haaland, previously had Sergio Aguero.
Yes. I just want to know what your argument is over Haaland, because trophies, Haaland already eclipsed him, goals scored. I mean, what do you define prime?
I would say prime. I'm looking at like a season. You can put your deck on the table and say, this is what I delivered, not just trophy-wise, in terms of overall package as a player, in terms of your numbers. So it's all things like that. So I get why Haaland, I'm guessing, is your case, right? In terms of that 22-23 treble-winning season.
Yes.
36 goals in, I think, 35 games.
Yes.
Obviously,
Freakish.
Incredible. He took 7 penalties. If you add those 7 penalties to what Drogba took, he didn't take pens.
Okay,
he
but
didn't
it's the same numbers, though.
It is the same numbers.
With a treble. So
Yeah,
I would
with
just
a
like to know what you exactly define. Big games, I understand. But if your argument was Drogba is the best big game player, that's completely different to best Premier League prime.
But it's a factor that comes into it.
It is a factor that
You want to be able
comes
to
into
rely on those players. And like Haaland that season, he was wicked. Like I said, he was wicked. But when they played Real Madrid in the semis or the
But
final
that's
against
not
Inter,
Premier League.
he
We're
was
talking about
phenomenal.
Premier League, are we?
Overall package in terms of delivering that treble.
Well, there's a
was something-
treble. So I don't know where what
obviously-
comes in and what doesn't come in.
Well, all of those things. Like I said, if you're delivering in finals, etc., you're adding to your
Okay.
resume as a season. So
Okay,
it's like
but there
an
are more.
overall package.
There are more to winning a Champions League, a Premier League, and all these other trophies than
Definitely.
just the final.
Definitely,
So
but they
providing
are
the
they
most
are the biggest
goals-
moments to deliver in. But on top of that, in that season, if we just go Premier League, for example, like I said,
Yes.
there's a difference of 6 goals between them, 4 games less. Lampard had 11 Premier League penalties that season.
Okay, I can.
If let's say Drogba misses 3 of them, which would be a terrible Premier League, it would be a terrible penalty record, right? He misses 3, he still beats Haaland's record.
But he didn't.
He didn't take penalties, but that's what I'm saying. He didn't take penalties.
Yes, but this is a lot of ifs and ifs
It's
and
not
buts.
even ifs
you
and
know.
buts. It's literally saying, right, we have a
But
different penalty taker.
the thing is with Haaland, he hasn't
Haaland
even-
took 7 that season.
Haaland's
They're
nowhere
not
near his
too
physical
dissimilar.
prime yet. So
And he might go on to eclipse what I think is the best Premier League striker. He might, but at
Okay.
the moment, I don't think that's the case. That's my
So
point.
you're saying that Didier Drogba has the best individual season
As a striker,
because he doesn't have the most goals, he didn't win the most trophies. I just don't see
because overall package wise,
overall package. So he
did.
was the best player in a single season ever.
No.
So what's the overall package? As a striker, so he's the best
in terms
individual
of-
striker season.
In terms of what he delivered as a player, in terms of the numbers
Okay.
that he put up, in terms of the trophies he delivered as a result, in terms of turning up away at every big four ground and winning that league, in every semi, in every final,
Okay, so-
ticking all the
So
boxes.
Thierry
That's what I'm saying.
Henry's invincible season doesn't come close to you.
No, it comes close.
Andy
These are-
Cole's
these are all wicked
99
players, by
season
the way.
doesn't come close to you. No penalties.
Yeah, they all come close, but Andy Cole was not the complete player that Didier Drogba was. He
Really?
didn't deliver those big moments that Didier Drogba did.
I would dispute that, but I don't see where your full argument lies, because it's nearly here, it's nearly there, it's nearly there.
It's not nearly. This is a double winning team where he scored 29. It's
Yeah,
not.
but he hasn't got the most goals in a Premier League season. You can say he hasn't, yes, Haaland
But
scored
all
penalties,
of
but he
those
still
guys
scored
were
those.
on penalties. This is a factor that you have to account for.
So
because
you can say Didier Drogba isn't that great of a striker all round because he's not that good at penalties. If midfield is
not
taking
that,
the
I don't know.
penalties-
Winning that Champions League, I think it kind of showed he's pretty decent.
Okay,
at
no,
penalties,
but I'm
to be
saying, but
honest.
why isn't he the Premier League? Why isn't he the penalty taker then?
Because Lampard was even better.
So
than
someone
him.
better than him at the Premier League. Like, I just don't
Right,
understand
but-
exactly where your arguments are, though.
Well, at one point, who was it? It was Rodri who was taking penalties for City. I didn't mean
But he's
Aguero
not,
was.
because he's
No,
the best
Not,
striking.
yeah, now you know.
Well,
what I mean.
that was a bad whistle, wasn't it? Jesus Christ. Well, that is the Didier Drogba prime debate. Well done, fellas. Well done. Well done. Just a quick break from the madness that's going on. I've sent everyone for a quick break. I need to talk to you about Tester Up. It's a free app that lets you guys at home earn real life money by testing other apps and games. Seriously, you sign up, you pick something to do like playing a game or completing a survey, you do that task and then you get paid. It's super straightforward, free to join, payouts come within 24 hours by bank transfer, and you can earn up to £80 per app test. Plus, it's rated 4.2 stars on Trustpilot with over 3 million users. So people really trust it. So if you're into trying new apps or games, this really genuinely is one of the easiest ways to make a little bit of money on the side. You guys can do it anywhere at any time, just on your phone. So if you're watching on TV or PC, you can scan the QR code on screen right now to download it, or you can go to the description down below if you're on a phone and click the link to go and download Tester Up. Go, it's free to download, it's very easy to use, start playing some games or surveys and start getting paid. Now, back to the video.
Frank Lampard is the best midfielder in Premier League history.
3, 2, 1. Everybody believe? Okay,
I know.
Mark, welcome. Okay, without further ado, why do you think he's not?
Because Gerrard must be.
What, a guy that can't win the Premier League?
A guy that was wanted by Mourinho when he had Lampard in his team.
Oh, mate, he would-
That
no, don't get me
argument
wrong.
sorry,
He would
that
have been
argument alone is enough for me to put him over Lampard.
I would have liked Gerrard as well. Gerrard would have been elite backup for Essien. He was genuinely a really top player. But the thing is, you can't really rely on him in those title run-ins, etc., because you know his tendencies to pass back to opposition players multiple times. I mean, he's got 2 assists for Chelsea and a goal for Chelsea, bear in mind. Never even played for us. He's got multiple assists for Henry. He's got an assist for Suarez when he didn't play with Liverpool for Suarez. So, realistically, this guy's not someone you can rely on, whereas like Frank is that running guy, he's that Champions League
like
final
in
guy.
2005, dragging your team by the scruff of the
Incredible
neck.
final.
I've never seen Frank put a performance in like that.
Oh dear.
In
Okay,
every
so-
single position, cramps in his legs. And sorry, I'll take the stick because he did slip. And I think, as you said about Abramovich, the trickle-down effect led to Liverpool being successful now. So there's no hard feelings for that.
No, of
obviously,
course.
no. But
I would say that Lampard in those Champions League finals in 2008, when he did score, much like Gerrard did, put in an all-round performance, hit the bar, almost an incredible double. He didn't get his hands on the trophy there. He did put his penalty away. But then 2012, something that people say Lampard can't do in terms of the defensive aspect of the game, he plays in a double pivot at Bayern's own stadium against Bayern Munich, and he puts in another masterclass, scores a penalty as captain that night and gets to lift the trophy anyway. So anything Gerrard did, he's done. He's had those FA Cup finals, those Champions League finals, except he's delivered in those title run-ins as well, and with a different level of consistency on top.
So what's your measure? Is it
Sorry, my friend. Well debated. Well debated. We've still got about 8 minutes left on the clock for Frank Lampard is the best midfielder the Premier League has ever seen. Without further ado, make your way. 3, 2, 1, go. Alex, welcome. Man United have had a few decent midfielders, haven't they?
Yeah, we've had a few decent ones.
Darren Fletcher.
Yeah, Darren Fletcher, Bruno. But I think the one, and look, I didn't see all of him in his prime because I was very young, but I think the most technically gifted midfielder I'd seen, honestly, I think is Paul Scholes. And I think he's got the trophies to argue, with Lampard. Gerrard hasn't got those trophies that Scholes has got. I think technically very good player, and I think it was Iniesta and Xavi that said he was the best midfielder.
Not the made-up quotes. We're not doing that one, are we?
I don't know.
We've
seen it on Twitter.
Paul Scholes hit a tree, so he's the best player ever. Like, I know we've all heard these ones, but realistically, like growing up throughout the time, I'll be honest, as a kid, everyone was talking about Lampard and Gerrard. I'll give them that. Scholes was he wasn't spoken about like that, to be honest, in the same degree. I think he played off of a striker when he was younger, probably underrated in terms of how he could control the game for sure. But like Carrick quite quickly shifted him on in that sense. Like Carrick was more so the guy for United sitting deep, to be honest, in those later years, I felt anyway. He had the moment against Barcelona, but I don't know. I feel like Scholes did have those accolades, but Wes Brown also had a lot of accolades, but I wouldn't put him in all time.
Compare Scholes and Wes Brown.
Scholes
Scholes as a player, I just remember watching him, like, it's more of an eye test player than a stats player, and I just remember thinking, like, wow, this guy can dictate a game, his passing, his vision, his everything was phenomenal, and I don't think there's been many midfielders like that. We talk about output. I think Lampard, the output, the moments, was a fantastic player, but you go back to like other debates, you do the Hazard-Salah debate. You've got Hazard on the eye that this is a fantastic player, but Salah's got the output, and people have a preference if they prefer the output or the aesthetics. And I think like Scholes as a player, just technically gifted passer, even like for a little guy, he used to time his headers so well. And I think, you know, the trophies he's won, you know, speak a lot.
He was brilliant. I just think that Lampard did win what he won, and on top of that, as much as Scholes was a brilliant passer of the ball, so was Frank Lampard. But on top of that, he's doing something that no other midfielder bar Michel Platini, who played a bit further up, to be honest, than Lampard, was delivering number-wise. So he passes that aesthetic test, and on top of that, the goal output test, and on top of that, the trophies test. Like, he just brings too many cards to the table that I don't think Scholes or anyone else really has that level of, you know, expanded kind of CV, basically.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think Lampard is just a phenomenal player. I think the numbers he got, I think the influence he had at Chelsea is fantastic. But I think for me, like, again, we're just going to keep going around in circles because I think we keep just having our opinion. I just think there's not much between Scholes and Lampard. I think it's just a case of like what you see in a player and what you value in a midfielder, to be honest.
I value every year I know I'm getting 20 goals for a midfielder as opposed to like, I come off after 60 every now and then.
That was the get. Clattenburg would be happy with that one. Alice, you're off, but well debated indeed. We've got just under 5 minutes. But does anybody else want to step on and take Tobes on over the fact that Lampard is the best midfielder of all time in the Premier League? Go. Come on.
Hendo, what are we going with?
Henderson, yeah.
Nah. Listen, let's just keep it. Listen, Lampard, I know we can do a Lampard-Gerrard debate. Lampard's Gerrard with a Gucci belt, I understand it. What we need to really have a conversation about, is he actually the best midfielder you've teams ever seen? Because you've had Makelele, you've had Kante. You know, if we're talking about importance to your teams, they're up there as well. So there's, in Chelsea history, we're very lucky. Yeah, you're very lucky to have those midfielders. You got Patrick Vieira, Yaya Toure, Paul Scholes. You know what I'm saying? You got guys like that to immediately put Lampard in debates. I feel like you've jumped to trophies and you've jumped to numbers, which do matter. Any Manchester United player outside of Lampard's goals are going to eclipse him through trophies. Any player like Patrick Vieira, Steven Gerrard, I think anyone with eyes can know that they're better footballers, attributes-wise. We understand, yes, Lampard's ability to strike a ball, absolutely amazing. Can time a tackle decently well. Then Gerrard's better than him at that.
I don't know that. I think Gerrard was a very Gerrard was a highly emotional player, and that's why he had so many mistakes in those big moments.
I mean,
because he was a lot of the time. Like, Rafa's spoken about this actually. I saw it on the overlap quite recently. He spoke about his lack of tactical nous. He had to have Mascherano and Xabi Alonso sitting for him because Gerrard was too ill-disciplined and too passion-run. Right. Lampard was a lot more of a cultured player. He was a lot more calm, and that's why you didn't get
a lot more calm, but
setting
again,
up opposition teams and getting red cards, stamping on people after a minute. You didn't get that with Lampard. Yeah, you've got consistent level every year.
It sounds like a consistent level of penalties to me. That's all it sounds like to me, because the only thing that Lampard does better than Steven Gerrard is score penalties. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe arriving late to the...
He also delivered higher numbers year in, year out. He also came it was recognised on a world stage when he came second in the Ballon d'Or.
Gerrard played...
He became second in the Ballon d'Or.
Gerrard played in the 10 behind Torres and was immediately rivaling Lampard in that position. And if you look at the numbers, yes, Lampard, again, taking penalties, yes, I'm saying...
Lampard didn't play in the 10, though. Lampard played in the 10 under Ancelotti. He played the 10,
again, he played as a box-crashing midfielder who thrived going forward. If we're talking about... Remember, you didn't say best attacking midfielder.
No,
you said best all-round midfielder.
Best midfielder, yeah.
Once well debated. But you're off, lad. You're off. I love how you stepped in. You went, I'm not going to talk about Jared Lampard. It ended back. Okay, 2 minutes 30, roughly. 3, 2, 1. Anybody want to jump in the seat? Come on then, James.
I was thinking, where's De Bruyne coming, man?
Yeah, well, I'm actually.
It could be.
Or is it David
Yeah,
Silva?
no. So I was originally thinking, David Silva, De Bruyne, Yaya Toure, but Rodri. You're saying midfielders. So obviously we're looking at numbers, and you can pull your goals, you pull your assists, but everything in terms of holding a game, creating opportunity.
I wouldn't say that Rodri's a particularly creative player.
No.
I'd say breaks down play, he controls the game impressively well. Jorginho did it for a bit, like a brilliant player. I'm not knocking that, but if I'm honest, it's like Makelele. I rate Makelele so highly. He had the role defined to the Makelele
can you
position.
just tell me who scored the Champions League winning treble-defining goal for Man City?
Oh, Solskjaer, wasn't it?
Man City.
Oh, for City. Okay.
Yes,
Rodri did score that goal.
Rodri scored that goal.
Lampard
Okay.
can chat with.
No. If you're saying Lampard is a better goal-scoring midfielder than Rodri, 100%, I'll take that any day. But in terms of importance to a team, what they can give, the fact that he, in a year where Vinicius Junior, we know how good of a player he is. He had a great season. Rodri is still winning the Ballon d'Or. That was the argument you brought. You brought accolades. You've brought this Ballon d'Or.
He was
How
going
does
up
that
against
compare?
Vinicius Junior, and Lampard came second to Ronaldinho in his prime in the Ballon
No,
d'Or.
but
That's a
he
different
didn't
level.
win it.
It's a different kettle
He
of
didn't
fish.
win it, though, did
You
he?
bear in mind, the Xavis, Iniestas, the Gerrard, they all played in that generation. He was ahead of every single one of them in that voting because he was that level. Like when we talk about, Rodri's won the Ballon d'Or. Everyone thinks that's a bit of a crime to football. I like Rodri a lot, but let's be honest.
does that
Rodri
not-
winning a Ballon d'Or is a sad day because if
But
we
does
put
that
him
not
in
show-
a pile of those midfielders from the past, he doesn't get.
So in a
top 10, top 5.
so in a competition that is won by attacking players, it's all about the attack, what it is in the eye. For a player that is boring and it's a criminal to win that competition, the fact that he is so good at his position, he is so pivotal to a Manchester City dominating this out the next.
My friend, well done, Jimbo. But
He's
you're off.
wicked. I thought you guys De Bruyne, man.
I thought it'd be a bit different, but
I like the hipster take.
yeah.
Let's say 25 seconds or so. 3, 2, 1. Anybody want to jump in? 25 seconds to go. Well, even less, I think. So go.
Can
Frank Lampard swim?
he swim?
Yeah.
Not that I know of. I think he can.
He can. So they say that 70% of the earth is covered by water, and the rest is covered by Noah Siddiqui. And I think the fact that Frank Lampard has
Okay, it's good. It's very good. Well done, mate. Really good. It's good. I had no idea
I
where
thought
that
it was
was
going to be a
going.
Kante joke.
I thought it was going to be a Kante joke as well. We couldn't say no, Siddiqui. Siddiqui's great. I like him. Just quickly, I've sent everyone away for another break, but I need to talk to you. I need to speak to you. I'm so glad you've been enjoying all of these videos so far. If you want to see more, then please subscribe to the channel. It means absolute world to me and it's great for the algorithm. We all know about that stuff. Like the video as well. Leave a comment on how you think everybody is going so far. Now, back to the video.
I believe that Jose Mourinho in his prime is the best Premier League manager of all time.
3, 2, 1, let's go. Anybody want to jump up and talk about against Jose? Go on, Alice. Bring it on. Alice, you've got this.
I just think Jose Mourinho is a fantastic manager and did some fantastic stuff at Chelsea, but I just don't know how he can compete with Sir Alex Ferguson, the league titles he's won. And if you look at Sir Alex Ferguson's last league title, he was playing like Anderson and Cleverley in midfield and still won the league. And the fact that no Man United managers got close to winning the league since Sir Alex Ferguson's left, I think says a lot about what Sir Alex Ferguson did and achieved at a club that looks like a place where managers go to let their careers fall off.
I'm not doubting on a longevity level that Ferguson is not clear of everyone in that sense, but my issue is more when Mourinho came to that league, Ferguson, he liked to play mind games with a lot of other managers. Rafa endured it, Kevin Keegan, Arsene Wenger. He didn't say a word to Mourinho. He was very nice and buddy-buddy with Mourinho because Mourinho had his number. Mourinho had those leagues in the bag, and realistically, he had the better of Ferguson. And even when it came to him facing with Real Madrid and Manchester United in his final year, he was knocking them out of Champions League. Mourinho was something that I think Ferguson feared. He was probably he probably was the only manager Ferguson ever really properly feared, I suppose. Like Guardiola was obviously in his infancy as a coach when they were playing in those Barcelona games, but yeah, I think Ferguson, longevity-wise, etc., I get it, but in terms of like a prime, he couldn't really chat to Mourinho in those games. Like, we really had their number. It was like 3-1 away and 3-0 at home, winning leagues back-to-back. Ferguson he didn't really get his kind of shine back until Mourinho had left the league.
I get your point there, but I think with Mourinho, he is very much very good tactically in those big games, those one-off games, which is why he's won so many trophies and had so much success, particularly in knockout games. When he came to Manchester United, I think he won 3 trophies. I think he's been our most successful manager. but I wouldn't say he completely knocked off Sir Alex Ferguson. I think that Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United have always finished in recent years since I was born third and above. And yes, Chelsea were probably the biggest competition. You know, they gave us a lot more than Arsenal. I just think, you know, Mourinho built this brilliant Chelsea side. They were there for a couple of years. They were defensively ridiculously good. I don't know if it was Mourinho that he broke the clean sheet record under. And I think that Mourinho is fantastic. And I think obviously a lot of it does come down to longevity, which you've said this is purely in its prime. But I just think that like Manchester United had this more attacking based football. Like you can argue it was pretty on the arm.
It was, but even that attacking based football, it didn't stop Mourinho from turning up at Old Trafford with Porto, knocking Manchester United out, going on to win a treble. Like I said, he did it with Real Madrid and then he did it with us. Like he always seemed to have Ferguson's number in those sides. And it's only, like I said, those later years as the Premier League got more competitive, thanks to statue of Roman, obviously. Like that's why Manchester United didn't have the same level of fall off. He didn't, you know, completely end Ferguson by any means. Obviously, he was hovering around second and third in those years, but he had to settle for second and third because Jose had his number. Like even down to the first FA Cup final, the new Wembley, was Chelsea-Manchester United. And despite Manchester United winning the league that year, like it was Mourinho that had him. So.
Do you think though with Mourinho, he seems to have really good periods and then he does seem to sort of fall off a little bit?
He's a nutcase. I'm not denying that he's not. Like you're gonna burn in the flames if you take him on as manager. But realistically, that's what I'm saying. When he was at his prime in that spell of Porto to Real Madrid, basically, I don't think anyone got near him. And I don't even think like a prime Pep Guardiola or a prime Alex Ferguson at their best got near what Jose was during those years. Like we went 86 games undefeated at Stamford Bridge, like the Premier League record obviously set there. He didn't lose at home with any of those clubs. I think it was like 7 or 8 years. No one's doing it. Like that's a mental level of soliditude he would build within clubs, and this feeling of he was.
And it's well debated, but you're off, smashed it. To continue our Jose Mourinho debate in 3, 2, 1, who will step up? Ollie Thomas making a dash through the midfield. Welcome.
Oliver Glasner. No, that's not him. If I think about the most impressive achievements in Premier League history as managers, I think the 15-goal conceded season is definitely up there. But I think that 100 points is harder. I think that winning the treble is harder. And I think going undefeated in a whole season is harder. And Jose didn't do any of that.
I don't think it's necessarily harder. They're just different achievements. In terms of like the 100 points is nuts to set. But in that time, Mourinho broke their points record of 95 at the time, and we'd won it, but like 3 or 4 games to go, and that's where we dropped, I think, multiple points during those years. If it's something that goes to the wire, they probably end up doing 100, who knows? But on top of that, that was simultaneously while doing the 15 goals and while winning other trophies on top. So in terms of what Mourinho was doing in those years, it was fairly unprecedented. I also think at a more competitive time, that was going up against the Invincibles, which people see as one of the best Premier League teams ever, and we walked the league. And then not just walked the league, retained the league. So as much as like what Pep's done is incredible, I do also think, competitively speaking, it wasn't quite on that same level. I thought Manchester United and Arsenal offered more than just Liverpool, if that makes sense.
Possibly, but like... Jose Mourinho is one of my favourite ever Prem managers, but when I think about like dominant periods in Premier League history, I think Jose really dominated that season, and obviously that season after you won the league again. But when I think of like dynasties, ones that kept it going for a long period of time and competed on other fronts too, I don't think Mourinho did that to the same level as Pep and Sir Alex did.
I'm probably looking at it from a different lens in terms of like even the 2012 Champions League that Di Matteo wins, like Mourinho, part of that is him. Like when I look at that team, like the Drogbas and Lampards and Terrys, like the mentality was instilled in them. Obviously, shout out Roman was doing the same, but he was also sacking everyone here, left, right, and rhubarb. So, like we didn't have Mourinho, but we kind of did. He was still kind of there in spirit, if that makes sense. And he had imprinted that. It's like if Pep left now, those footballers aren't going to suddenly lose their kind of Pepisms that they've picked up over the years. They're still going to be imprinted on them. And that side was so ruthless and just find a way to win. And that was a big part of that, obviously, was Jose Mourinho instilling that. So it was a dynasty in a sense of Chelsea still went on to win everything. They did every year. You knew they'd win stuff, and he was a big part of that.
So when you say in his prime, what do you mean?
When I'm talking Mourinho in his prime, I'm saying he was in his prime in the Premier League, but it's probably that stretch of Porto to Real Madrid. From that 8 years, I don't think we've seen a manager better than that.
So you think that period is better than Pep from like 2008 to over like a 10-year plus year period?
Pep's whole career, I'd say that 8-year period, I don't think Pep could win the treble with Porto and win the Champions League. I don't think he'd have won that treble with Inter Milan either. The fact that Pep got run out of the league by that Real Madrid side when Pep had the best side of all time, and then he had to take a gap year and go travelling or whatever he was doing, I don't know. But like, Pep, Mourinho could get in Pep's head to a different degree that we've never seen. Like Klopp, they want to give each other hugs and talk about how great each other's teams are. Mourinho was like, I'm going to poke your assistant in the eye, and like we're going to war, and that's how it is. You know, I think he had a different way of getting under everyone's skin. The fact that Ferguson's response, like I said, he was someone that was happy to play mind games with everyone, but he didn't want to touch Mourinho. Pep's leaving, like those three are probably, I would say, the best three Premier League managers we've had. And the fact that those two had to look at different ways of handling him or not handling him at all and just going on your holidays for a bit. Like, I think it's a testament to how powerful that guy was at that time.
Possibly, but I also think that the period which you mentioned under Jose in 2004-05 era, where I suppose maybe they were so dominant because of United or Arsenal didn't seem as good because Chelsea was so good, but like that wasn't prime Fergie United. Like,
they were rebuilding. They were rebuilding. Yeah.
Like, I just think from my lifetime, Jose's definitely top three. Definitely top three. And he's probably I like him more than probably Pep and Fergie. But I just think, like, I look at what especially Pep came in and just built a team that like no one could touch. Like, not just in terms of the wins and obviously like the consecutive wins, whatever, but the way they played, it was just like nothing that anyone had ever seen before. And it totally changed how everyone played in England.
Yeah, I agree. But I'd also say that people missed the idea that actually when Mourinho came in, he changed to a 3 up top with Drogba as the sole striker. People look at like impact on how that changed the league. England was a 4-4-2 nation. You had, York and Cole, you had even Bergkamp playing off Henry. Like, that was collective across the board. And Mourinho coming in and bringing Drogba and be like, right, we're playing Duff and Rob on either side. What does everyone play now? Like, everyone plays 1 up top. And I'd say that was a big impact in terms of the evolution of English football. It's probably overlooked to some degree.
So if you put Pep's, well, what do you think the best Pep team is? Centurions or treble winners?
I'm quite hipster, I think 18-19, but yeah.
Okay, 18-19.
Son, hang up.
18-19 Pep, or best version of Pep City against Jose Mourinho Chelsea, you think Mourinho would
we get a 1-0 all day, yeah. We get 1-0, for sure. Like that.
Do you think you win the league over them? Because surely that's the argument. Because I agree that in a big game, Mourinho. If they, that's tough.
I've got him.
You might have him.
I've got him.
You might have him there.
He's on the ropes.
I think Mourinho would get in his head enough. I think Mourinho showed at Real Madrid that he can get in his head enough to offset them, and that was with a better Barcelona team, I think. So I think Mourinho would get the job done. I think it'd be some title race, though. Put it that way.
This is maybe going off topic a little bit. When they were in the La Liga together, because Mourinho got 100 points, didn't he? Did he get 100 points with Real Madrid? Yeah. And that was with Pep in the league as well. But who won more leagues in that period of time? Because Mourinho did ultimately
3
fail
years
with Madrid.
He did 3 years, but only 2 of them were Pep. It was 1 each. The first year was when Barca won the Champions League 10-11, and they also won the league. But then the following year, Mourinho won the league with Real Madrid, and then the next year it was like Tito Villanova or something that was Barca manager.
Okay.
Pep was doing gap years because he was like, I'm not dealing with this guy. He's
Respect.
too much.
He needed a mindful period of time.
Yeah.
Boys, well done. Really well debated, guys.
Good stuff.
Smashed it.
I believe that the Premier League should build a statue for Roman Abramovich.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome, Ollie. Let me just... there we go. Go.
Do you actually think that?
I completely think. I think the way that the shape that the Premier League's taken in terms of it now being such an entertaining product, so many teams, obviously teams lower down can now buy better players. I think even some of the stories that have come about, that I obviously delve into, has actually come about with what Roman Abramovich did. Otherwise, we would be an actual Farmers League, and Man United would have won about 30 leagues by now. Like, it was a duopoly that wasn't really a duopoly. It was Arsenal sometimes will have some years off. You can have 1 or 2 leagues. But it was Manchester United every year. It was a boring league. And ultimately, we broke that up completely because of that investment. As a result, you get your cities come in. Newcastle now. You get the amount of money that's come to the league because it's become more competitive, more entertaining. So the likes of, yourself, like Eze coming in. How much was he? Like 20, 30 million, Eze?
It cost us like 15.
Right, but those memories are priceless, aren't they?
We actually thanked Roman we thanked Roman Abramovich in the farewell.
As you should,
First of all, thank you, Lord Roman, for getting us to there at Eze.
But you know what I mean? It's a trickle-down effect. It's a butterfly effect as a result of Roman purchasing Chelsea. So in that regard, I do think he's the one who shaped what the Premier League is as a result of what he did.
I don't disagree that he had an impact. If you were thinking of like building statues,
yeah.
So, do you think he's top of the list?
I think he is the biggest impact. Yes, I think the door that opened to the Premier League when it was previously a generation dominated by Italian football. You had the Galacticos in Real Madrid, and suddenly it was like don't get me wrong, Man United was spending, but no one else other than Blackburn were the only team that properly spent, and they got a league as a result from it. But no one was continually doing that so they could compete with Manchester United. Arsenal did. They just went, all right, we'll buy some French players, and that kind of changed things. But Chelsea came in and completely changed it to like, oh, okay, right, there's a team that come and they win back-to-back. You see City's investment comes in, they've seen what Roman did. They come about, we'll see what Newcastle do in the next few years. But as that league's developed, we've now overtaken the Spains and Italys. That's why a lot of these other, fans and clubs from these leagues now are like, oh, you call us a farmers league. It's like, yeah, well, you got 1 or 2 clubs. That's why you're not as popular or as entertaining as a product. Whereas this has directly come from what happened in 2003. So I do think he's the biggest factor.
He's definitely spent a lot of money. Does the controversies, shall we say, both inside and outside football of Roman Abramovich not bother you at all?
The thing is, I don't know. I don't know how far I'd go in terms of certain people buying me Drogba to get me memories. Like, I don't really know how far I go with that one. As for Roman, it's just one of those ones where you kind of look at it and go, yeah, I've heard some things, but we'll turn a blind eye and enjoy Drogba scoring headers.
If he had bought Fulham,
I mean, no billionaire is ever ethical, really, are they? Like,
and also
not trying to be like some sort of like
defense of
not trying to be that either.
So the bigger factor I have is I know that is the argument when it comes to Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, that they've allowed this money in, it's wrong, etc. If Chelsea were to win a league in the next 2 years, would everyone go, yeah, that's fair now because that was good money? Or would everyone go, oh, they spent $1 billion under this lot? It's always been about money, really. Like,
I like the Premier League is very money driven, and like if you go like who has given the most money to the Premier League, in some ways it probably is Roman Abramovich, but like that is not what building statues should be for.
He kept the hotels open during the lockdown for the NHS. Like,
so did Wilfried Zaha, mate. Let's get Wilfried Zaha a statue.
Maybe we should.
Wilfried Zaha and Roman Abramovich, first 2 statues in the Premier League era. So you would have Roman Abramovich above Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho, John Terry.
Well, I would say that Roman, the result of Jose to the trickle-down effect that Chelsea Football Club was from Roman really down. I would say, obviously, those players you'll hold in high regard because they're doing what they do on the pitch. Roman was basically what I'd argue he's one of the best gaffers ever because he basically run it on, right, you don't do your work, you're fired, bye-bye. And it instilled a culture that meant that Chelsea became the most successful team in this century in England. So, like, that came about because of him. He's probably the most football fan-coded owner there's been.
If Chelsea were building statue, if Chelsea even built a statue of Abramovich,
I think the Premier League owe him.
We only have one statue,
and it's not Roman Abramovich.
Osgood.
Osgood from.
I'm not going to sit here and argue that Abramovich didn't do a lot for Chelsea because obviously he did. But like the Premier League shouldn't build a statue of Abramovich. I don't really know what else to say. Like he is literally like an international criminal.
I think well, there's nothing proven. He's chilling on his yachts and whatever.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
He's allegedly.
Thank you. I was getting ready to throw this in there.
But yeah, I think the Premier League owe him so much because of what it's come into and it being the biggest league. He is the biggest.
But if he bought Fulham, which he nearly did, right? If he bought Fulham or Spurs and they had the success, and let's just say you swap positions with those clubs, would you still think that Roman Abramovich?
Absolutely not. But
I just want to get that on record.
Yeah, but I'd appreciate what it did do for the league. And
but do you think so? The Premier League was still had money pumped into it at various points, and like it was on its way. It was heading in that direction. I think it was.
It was United and Arsenal. It wasn't really like we were actually in big financial trouble if it weren't for getting Champions League that year and Roman acquiring Chelsea. Like,
I know.
We were in big trouble. There were a lot of clubs that were. Obviously, we had a Portsmouth fan on earlier. He was talking about the level of threat that they had, all of the deductions, etc. The Premier League not taking care of them. Nowadays, like most teams that come up, you've got that promotion package, you've got that payment money that comes in. Norwich have made a career off literally. They come up and they accept going down every year because the amount of money that you get from being in the Premier League. And that has come about because of the expansive nature of the Premier League that came about because of this investment. So, I don't know, I think it's made it a lot safer for Premier League clubs in that sense. Obviously, you can take risk and how far they want to go with things, but, like the amount of money that Palace spent compared to the days when Warnock was losing all those players, it's come about because of that as well.
But that's not like what makes the Premier League good. Isn't like Roman Abramovich.
Oh, it is.
You know what I mean? I don't think like Prem football.
I don't know.
Abramovich.
Okay, let's think of like what's the best story in Premier League history, right?
Palace winning the FA Cup.
Okay, let's say second. Close
I love how the card went down. By the way,
Palace winning the Community Shield.
a close second. And
what you said about Leicester.
A close second is Leicester,
okay.
right?
So you're attributing that to Roman Abramovich.
Right. So who was the manager of Leicester?
Claudio Ranieri.
It was Claudio Ranieri. Now, Claudio Ranieri was Chelsea manager. He comes second. And Abramovich says that's not good enough. You're sacked. So he goes to Italy and he becomes a bit of a journeyman. And he's obviously not respected in England because it's like, well, you were in the Premier League with Chelsea and you got sacked. So Leicester actually managed to acquire him. They win the league. Now, if Roman Abramovich had the mentality of some clubs that are happy with second, some teams are very happy with second, don't they? They keep
It only
their
took
managers.
7 minutes for you to bring up Arsenal.
We'll call it there. It was good fun, though. I actually really enjoyed it. It lasted longer than I thought I could let it last. I won't lie. So there we have it. One Chelsea fan has just taken on 20 Premier League fans. Whew, what a video. Tobes, if the lovely people at home want to check you out, where can they go?
Just type in Tobes, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you to everybody here for taking part. You'll see all the videos over the next couple of weeks. I hope you've enjoyed them. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and leave a comment. We'll see you guys very soon. Bye.